A leopard seal dragged her to 230 feet. She was snorkeling. Richard Burt was with her in the water. A shore team watched from land. On July 22, 2003, the dive computer recorded data that researchers had never seen before. What they concluded from it changed how they understood leopard seals. This incident permanently reshaped how scientists conduct research in the Antarctic. July 22, 2003, Kirsty Brown was 28 years old, working on Adelaide Island. She was studying how drifting icebergs scrape the seafloor and what survives underneath. She entered the water that afternoon with Burt, while two other colleagues stood watch on shore. Brown was a qualified diver, having logged dives off Greenland, Australia, and the UK. On that day, Brown and Burt wore dry suits to insulate themselves against the near-freezing water. Neither wore a tank. Conditions were calm. Underwater visibility was nearly 100 feet. A thin layer of grease ice sat on the water. Brown and Burt were working about 70 feet from the shore. They were roughly 50 feet apart. Their safety protocol was to leave the water if someone saw a leopard seal in the area. No one saw it. Close to shore, support already in place, a routine field session. The shore team was watching. They still didn't see it coming. A few minutes after entering the water, Brown screamed and disappeared from view. Burt swam toward her. The shore team briefly saw her resurface with a leopard seal, then vanish again. The team sent a distress call, triggering the launch of a rescue boat. The entire sequence of events, the scream, the resurfacing, the disappearance, was over before anyone could reach her. The seal was long gone before the rescue boat even hit the water. Neither Burt nor the shore team had seen the seal before it struck. Witness accounts described no stalk, no approach, no circling. Burt later estimated the animal at nearly 15 feet. It likely weighed over 1,200 pounds. Brown only weighed 121 pounds. The seal outweighed her by nearly 10 to 1. Burt was 50 feet away and could not close the gap in time. When he did reach the spot where she went under, Burt reportedly saw her about 16 feet below the surface. The leopard seal was holding her by a fin and pulling her deeper. The seal had taken the struggle underwater where it held every advantage. Burt tracked her through his goggles. He could see her struggling below. The seal released her long enough for her to begin floating upward, then took her again. This pattern of releasing prey and recapturing it is documented leopard seal hunting behavior. The rescue boat was already in the water. They didn't know how far she'd gone. Brown's dive computer recorded what no one on the surface could see. Researchers have recorded leopard seals diving to nearly 1,000 feet. The leopard seal that took Brown stopped descending at 230 feet, a fraction of what it was physically capable of. When the computer was recovered, it showed she had been held there for around 6 minutes. Brown had entered the water without a dive tank. At that depth, on a single breath, there was no chance of survival. The depth removed any possibility of her saving herself. A diver's oxygen levels in the blood fall rapidly upon ascent from the water because of the dropping water pressure. A freediver ascending from 230 feet can lose consciousness before reaching the surface. This is called hypoxic blackout. It happens without warning. Once she was that deep, the water did the rest. Reported leopard seal encounters over the last 30 years have produced observations from only above the water. The dive computer documented, for the first time, how leopard seals behave underwater during an attack. The readings suggested leopard seals may dive deep while holding large prey, then surface somewhere far from where they attacked. The leopard seal had to surface eventually. The only question was what it would be holding. The leopard seal resurfaced more than half a mile from where it had last been seen. Brown was face down, and the leopard seal had her by the head. One of the rescuers struck the leopard seal with a shovel, forcing it to let go. Rescuers pulled Brown into the boat and began CPR. They continued CPR for an hour, but they could not revive her. The coroner recorded the cause of death as drowning. But the real question now was whether the seal had been hunting her. Professor Ian Boyd from the University of St. Andrews presented 3 possible explanations for the leopard seal attack. Mistaken identity was one possibility. From below, a diver in a black dry suit and black fins looks like a fur seal, one of the leopard seal's primary prey. Defensive aggression was another possibility. The seal may have been startled by Brown's presence and struck without intent to feed. The third possibility was the most difficult to confirm or accept: deliberate predation. The leopard seal identified her, a human diver, as prey and attacked. Boyd could not determine which explanation was correct. That required a different kind of evidence. After Brown's death, researchers reviewed decades of reported encounters between humans and leopard seals. Most recorded encounters described leopard seals as approaching divers out of apparent curiosity, circling, following, observing. Brown's case stood apart. Leopard seals had been documented behaving aggressively toward humans for almost a century before Brown's death. During Ernest Shackleton's 1914 trans-Antarctic expedition, a team member named Thomas Ord Lees was chased across sea ice by a leopard seal. He survived only because a companion shot the animal. That encounter was on record. What had never been recorded was a fatality. The peer-reviewed investigation paper noted that Brown's death fell outside the periods when leopard seals are typically aggressive. July was not a season researchers had flagged as high risk. Researchers found the attack consistent with predatory behavior. The leopard seal had held her underwater for 6 minutes, far longer than a defensive strike. It surfaced half a mile from where the attack began, and the autopsy documented 45 separate injuries concentrated on her head and neck. This matched how leopard seals handle large prey. All of the evidence pointed to one conclusion. Past reported encounters had never supported the idea that leopard seal attacks were predatory until Brown's case. Reports described leopard seals as curious around humans. Brown's case proved they were capable of far more than curiosity. The question was what you do with that knowledge when researchers still need to get in the water. Kirsty Brown's death rewrote the protocol. The British Antarctic Survey suspended scuba diving and snorkeling after the attack. When diving resumed, different rules were in place. A 30-minute seal watch before every entry. A boat in the water for every dive. A radio line between the diver and the surface team. The dive gear changed too. A diver in a black dry suit and black fins looks like a fur seal from below. The recommendation was to have high visibility markings on dive gear to break up that silhouette. The new rules made one thing explicit: snorkeling was prohibited. A scuba diver pulled down to 230 feet had equipment, air, and a fighting chance. A snorkeler pulled down to 230 feet had a single breath. Kirsty Brown was experienced. She was close to shore. A shore team had eyes on her the whole time. The investigation found that every protocol had been followed correctly. After her death, the rules changed anyway. The physical evidence pointed toward predation. Kirsty Brown was wearing a black dry suit in water full of fur seals. Do you think the leopard seal knew what it was attacking? Let us know below. There's a whale that dives to 7,000 feet to hunt 40-foot squid. The video on why the ocean goes silent when it hunts is on screen now. We post new stories weekly. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like and subscribe for more Below the Blue. See you in the deep.